Hi, Lovebugs. Welcome to another episode of Girls Night. I am your host, Carley Doxtator, and this week we have another guest with us. Jim Garancer is a visionary entrepreneur, philanthropist, and the driving force behind a movement to transform the cancer journey through patient-centered innovation. As the founder of the Cancer Playbook, powered by the Whole Health Oncology Institute, Jim has reimagined what support, strategy, and science can look like for individuals navigating a cancer diagnosis. His work blends compassion with cutting edge research, giving rise to a platform where patient reported outcomes are not just collected, they're activated to empower others. At the heart of Cancer Playbook is a simple but revolutionary idea. Real stories and data from real patients can guide better outcomes. Jim leads a dynamic team dedicated to building comprehensive interactive playbooks for cancer patients, integrating scientific literature, longitudinal surveys, and lived experience into actionable, personalized support. This isn't just a tool, it's a lifeline, a mentor, and a companion for thousands seeking clarity, control, and community during one of life's most challenging chapters. Jim's journey into cancer advocacy began in 2012 after his son Eric's diagnosis. In response, he co founded Early Recognition is Critical, ERIC, a global nonprofit committed to life-saving education and early detection strategies. Today, Eric operates in the US, Uganda, Venezuela, and Kenya, with initiatives ranging from breast self-exam training to athletic campaigns and survivor empowerment programs. Jim and his work has been featured in outlets such as The Guardian, Forbes, Times News, Authority Magazine, Thrive Global, and Modern Healthcare, amplifying his mission to improve cancer care through empathy, data, and innovation. So it's going to be a really great episode, and let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Life can get a little crazy, so let's talk about it. If you're ready to dive deeper, talk about what really matters, and feel a little more empowered, then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Carley Doxtator. I'm a life coach, baker, dog mom of two, and you're always there for you, gal pal. And I'm so excited to have you join me. So grab your fuzzy socks, put on your comfy pants, and let's have girls' night. Hi, Jim. Thank you for joining.
Hi. Well, I was going to say, wow, who is that guy? But somebody recognizing a couple of those things. Thank you so much. You nailed it. That's we're busy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a busy guy. If you guys couldn't tell
yeah.
from the intro, Jim has done a lot and has made a huge impact on a lot of different places. So, Jim, to start off, do you want to give everybody a little background about you and maybe about your journey with finding or founding the Whole Health Oncology Institute and the Cancer Playbook?
Sure. Yeah. I try to make it quick. It starts when I was 8. I became a entrepreneur because my grandmother was living with us at the time in St. Louis, Missouri, and she used to own a grocery store. So she was like, she knew I had some skills, and she was like, "Hey, let's make these cinnamon toothpicks, wrap them in foil. You'll take them to school, sell them for a nickel." And I was like, "All right." And I come home with like $1, and I was like, "Let's do that again, Grandma." And it turned into you know I used to go to the store down the road and actually have them front me Jolly Rancher candies, a box of the Jolly Rancher candies, little sticks, and he would give me the box, and I would come back and pay him after school. So I had my little uh, business going. I was 8, and turned into fireworks, and then all the things, and a few drugs here and there because it was the '80s when I was growing up, and yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Cancer Playbook is a dream come true for me, honestly. Something I really enjoy doing is helping cancer patients. I like just talking to them, man, because a lot of times they're freaked out by it, and already went through that. And because I went through that, I feel like I have confidence in you'll be fine. Because Eric did recognize it early. He had a brain tumor when he was 8, and it was benign, but it was brutal. It was misdiagnosed, and because it was so big, they couldn't get it all out. When they finally did get it all out, 2 years later, on a reoccurrence, he had a stroke. So here's your 10-year-old kid coming out of surgery, can't walk, can't move his whole left side. So I went through some crazy stuff then, and it was really tough on the family. I had 3 kids at the time. So Eric is 32 now. So
Amazing.
the story ends great. 10 years later, after the occurrence at 8, which was his first one, 10 years later, he got diagnosed with Burkitt's lymphoma, which is a really aggressive non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It actually doubles by the day. We've
Wow.
watched it go from a size of an orange to a bowling ball in his abdomen, and super aggressive treatments. And after he was done with it, it was beating him down. His white blood cells would be so low they couldn't do the treatments. It just was terrible to watch. Lost all his hair. Everybody in the neighborhood. We were up in California at the time, and everybody shaved their heads, and
Oh, that's nice.
and honestly, I didn't have to shave that much. I had a shortcut, and we ended up uh, living next to a group of family members that had brain cancer. When he was younger, he was probably 20, 22 at the time, and we started understanding what this. They had some cannabis oil. That the oldest brother was the one with the cancer. The younger brother grew it up in northern California hill countries, and the mom promoted it. And I was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool, pretty California."
Yeah.
And this is even before it was rec. So we got along with these people. Actually, her mom was bathing my mom. We found out that she was available to help. She had a mom. Her mom was alive, and her mom was like 90, and my mom was around at the time 88 or 89. Currently, she's 101, which is pretty awesome
Yeah.
for for me to be able to hang out with my mom when I'm hanging out. And she's literally 101 and gets along good. She's pretty on top of it, and still play cards and still try to get away with, you know, 2 hearts and a diamond and gin rummy. So, but it's a lot of fun. So we started using this oil. I didn't have any idea what it was. Just called oil. So I started using it myself for sleeping and stuff like that. But Eric started using it, and what we found out that it was is able to eliminate 5 of the 9 prescription drugs that they brought back from the hospital. He left the hospital after chemo with 9 prescriptions, which is freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they were just toxins after toxins, following up with more toxins, right? And making
Yeah.
sure you do them every day. So I eliminated 5 of them. I was super excited. At the time, um, my it was my ex-wife at the time, and she
Mhm.
was like, "What do you mean we don't need those anymore?" And I was like, "She goes, you need patches instead of pills?" And I'm like, "No, we don't need anything. He's good on all that stuff. Nausea, no more nausea. He's starving right now. We don't need this Marinol crap. It's fake and synthetic
Mhm.
cannabis, which is ridiculous." And so yeah, I started moving pretty quick, and I started realizing that it was called full extract cannabis oil. Some people call it RSO, Rick Simpson oil. Rick Simpson actually, it's more, that name's more popular than RSO than FECO, and FECO is what it's been called for thousands of years. It
Okay.
actually was one of the first 4 medicines used by doctors for hundreds of years back before the prohibition of 1937. Where we all ended up getting tricked by the pharmaceutical companies into, getting a little pill container with pills that were fillable,
Hmm.
and it's just turned into a shit show basically. So yeah, it really has turned into pretty amazing. I started realizing this oil is amazing. If you burn yourself and you put it on it, it doesn't blister.
Oh, interesting.
If you get sunburn, or if you have any type of um, pain at all, like if you your thumbs might hurt from arthritis, you can rub it on there and it goes away. I was like, what the heck, man? So I started researching it a little bit more, and it was called full extract cannabis oil. And it's
Interesting.
taking the plant and extracting all of the cannabinoids out of it, which there's over 100 of them. And some of them are, the more popular ones are CBD
Hmm.
and THC. Everybody's heard of those. But there's also CBN, CBG, CBA, THCA, just on and on and on. And what happens is there's also terpenes and other parts of the plant that are included in this extraction, and it's an entourage effect. It's just they don't work individually. A lot of people say you can do CBD at you buy it at the grocery store and it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work. Or you buy it at the gas station. Literally, it doesn't have THC in it for one thing. It has to have at least zero point 0.3 THC, which is what hemp is.
Hmm.
It has 0.3 THC, but it has all the other cannabinoids in really high percentages, even more than high THC does. So it's really a powerful medicine. And if you have this entourage effect working, it really put your body in homeostasis. That's the
Interesting.
biggest thing about it.
Okay,
So
cool.
so yeah, it's been going good. Cancer Playbook. I'm co-founder. I've got a couple other partners that helped. One of them is a guy named Dave Evans. Dave is our number one 001 patient. When you go to cancerplaybook.org, it has what to do, but also what to expect. And what to do is all built off of patient-reported outcomes. We don't answer any questions. We do it based off of what the survey says. I refer to it as ways. It's a journey roadmap for you that will tell you to take a right if a bunch of people say take a right at work for us. That's how Waze works. They don't send you on the first person that says there's traffic. They don't tell you to go right, but after about 10 people do, they
Hmm.
say go right and basically go around a traffic jam, and it walks you right around it, and it knows exactly how long it's going to take. It's a beautiful app, and that's kind of how I've created Cancer Playbook. And
Okay.
um, we have a company. Cancer Playbook is a nonprofit, doesn't charge anything for what we do. And we're powered by Whole Health Oncology Institute. And Whole Health Oncology Institute is there just to store the data. They are
Okay.
100% data company. They do data analytics. We not only collect patient-reported outcomes, but we utilize them to help other people, and that's so important for people to know because people don't do that enough. We're we're in the process of creating what we call the Pro Hub, and the Pro Hub is basically a menu of prompts. Prompts are what they call the questions.
Okay.
So they're patient reported outcome measurables. So you create these questions to create measurables. So we have a validated list of prompts where people could go in and build their own prom survey.
Okay.
Anybody
Okay.
can use it. And then we collect these pros. So the end result is called a pro. So
Okay.
when I answer a prom with a response, that's a pro. That's a patient reported outcome. So it's asking me, what type of symptom did you have before you started during this process? And it was like, I had pain. And then it was like, okay, after you use FECO, what level were you at? 1 to 5. 1, I was pain, a lot of pain. How much FECO did you use? And after you used FECO, how did it alleviate your pain? I used a rice-sized grain, and it eliminated my pain by I'm at a 3 now. And that's like, okay, that's a patient reported outcome.
Okay.
Now we know. And we don't share that until we get a bunch of those. And as we get a bunch of them, we put them all together and cleanse them, we anonymize them because the names don't matter. We keep the stories and it's all HIPAA compliant and we'll store away, but nobody ever sees Jim's story except, well, they might see mine because I did have skin cancer, and that just increased my journey faster and made me want to invest personal money into this
Right.
because I did have skin cancer in 2019, and it was basal cell carcinoma. It was on my arm right here. I actually have a scrape. I cut easy now that I'm old guy,
Yeah.
and I had basal cell diagnosed, and I started I read a book called Phoenix Tears, which was actually written by Rick Simpson, and I had no idea about any of really. I knew that what the oil was because I lived in California, but I had no idea you could put it on your skin for cancer.
Hmm.
So I did it, and within 7 to 10 days, it was completely gone.
Wow.
It literally drew up. Everybody's had acne. You know how you're going on a date in 2 nights and you're putting tape on it when you're
Hmm.
16 and trying to get rid of the pimple where it
Yeah.
draws it out. That's
Yeah.
what it did. It
Okay.
drew it out of my arm, and it became this pussy looking, um, not a, kind of like a head,
Hmm.
on a pimple,
Yeah.
but then it just cleared up. It just pulled it all up, and you could see it coming up, and it was like, ugh. And then like 3 days later, it was gone.
Wow.
I was just like, and I kept reapplying it and putting a new bandage on every couple of days, taking
Hmm.
pictures of it. It's documented on our website,
Hmm.
and there's other people that have documented it. So if you have skin cancer, consider using full extract cannabis oil. Honestly, people. The other night I was at an event. We got a grant from a group called the Civic League, and the lady was like, "Oh, Jim, it's great to see you." She goes, "Look what happened since I saw you. I had melanoma right here, and they operated on it. She got a big scar right here." And I was like,
Hmm.
why did you not call me?" She goes, "Well, I went to the doctor, and before I could even say anything, they scared me into saying, you got to get this taken care of right away."
Yeah.
That's the scare tactic that I'm not excited about,
Yeah.
is they make you feel like you're going to die and you got to get it done. I saw a guy, he called me up. I was plenty of time. He had melanoma. Melanoma was dangerous. He was a veteran. And so when we went to the VA 2 days later, surgery, he had a scar that big.
Wow.
I actually met him about a week ago. He came into Dallas to do some stuff with a buddy of mine. It was unbelievable. He never had a chance to even try it. They cut him, and guess what they've done? They've cut him 6 more times. So I
Yeah.
gave him some oil, and I said, "Take this shit with you home and start putting it on there." He goes, "Well, I'm getting surgery on this like in 2 weeks." I said, "Put it on there. You might not even need it."
Yeah.
I got story after story. One real quick story. A guy had colon cancer,
Hmm.
and he was a friend of a dad that had skin cancer on his hand. So
Hmm.
I got some, you know, got him hooked up with a friend of mine that knows what to do, and they were using the oil, and the skin cancer was completely gone. And then the son, he had colon cancer, so he was using suppositories. And the suppositories are really good because you don't get as high, you don't
Hmm.
get that psycho
Yeah.
reactive reaction to it. You
Yeah.
you eliminate most of it.
Okay.
Not all of it, but most of it. So it's very tolerable. So you can get more into your system. And with colon cancer, prostate cancer, things like that, it's really good. It's right to the source. And
Right.
so he said, no. He goes, "Man, I don't want to." I said, "Look what your dad just did." And he goes, "I've got a doctor. My doctor's telling me that I got to get surgery in 2 months." I said, "Well, do me a favor. Just try it." I
Right.
said, "I can send you a bunch of stories of a bunch of people." So we did that. And he watched a couple of our podcasts. I ran a podcast for a long time, which is really hard. Feck Off
Yeah.
Friday. And he goes, "Man, I've never felt so good after watching one of these podcasts, because all you do is talk about helping people and hope, bringing hope to people." And I said, "So trust us, man. Trust the stories. They share the results that they're getting." So he did it. And then he hits me up like 2 months later, and he went through like pretty good regimen, probably 20 grams. And he goes, "So I went to the doctor, and um, I don't have to get surgery anymore."
That's
I was like,
amazing.
"What?" He goes, "The doctor was blown away." Doctor was like, "What have you been doing?" He goes, "I just told him." And he goes, he's completely blown away, almost
That's
like he didn't want to
crazy.
believe it. So it was
Yeah.
amazing. That kind of stuff over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
So
that's amazing. So taking just a step back, I think one, all those stories that you shared are incredible, and it shows just the different routes that people can take with their health. If you could describe what you're doing with the Cancer Playbook and the Whole Health Oncology Institute in like 2 to 3 sentences, what would you say that your main purpose and your main goal is with these programs and with these two businesses?
I think you nailed it earlier better than I probably will, but it's really to help cancer patients
Okay,
deal with the adverse side effects of Western medicine.
great.
And Cancer Playbook is the user experience app, and Whole Health Oncology Institute is the data storage. They do the analyzing and everything like that with the data, but they've got relationships back and forth where all the stories end up in Whole Health Oncology database, and it's really built to help cancer patients.
That's amazing. And I think that is such um, a great, I'm going to say purpose. I don't know if that's the correct word I should be
And that's
using, but I think
fair.
that's a great
That's a
purpose to be going after because so many people are affected by cancer, right? And there's so many different types of cancer. And to your point with all your stories, th this can help cure so many different things for different people that they're experiencing.
it absolutely, and prevention is a big part of what we do. Honestly, you don't have to wait till you're sick to get healthy.
Hmm.
Like 90% of the people do.
Yes.
I'm guilty on that.
Yeah.
I run, I ran pretty hard when I was younger, and um, paying some of those prices now. But I work on a couple different things. Well, I've been diagnosed with some minored cancer stuff in the past, and I got a hold of a lady that shared this deal called bioresonance or frequency. And these
Okay.
machines, the guy's name is Rife, and his first name is Royal Rife. So these machines are called Rife machines, and what they
Okay.
do is they check the energy in your body
That's cool.
for frequency. So
That's
the
cool.
frequency is established differently on each organ, and they can tell if it's high or low, and they'll let you know it's off. So they have these causative factors that can give you some insight in what's normally causing that, and what we refer to that as is treating the root cause instead of the symptom. So
Right.
cancer is a symptom.
Right.
It's not the end. It's not what caused it. Cancer is just the end result of it. It's either a parasite, a bacteria, or a virus.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
Yeah, I've
what
never
we
thought about it that way before, but that's such an interesting way to look at it.
So what we do, yeah, I know I never thought about it either. Everything I went through. So we have these machines. This is a Rife machine,
Okay.
and it has a plasma tube right here. Can you see that? Okay,
Yeah.
that's a plasma tube, and that's a generator an amplifier that takes information from that machine, and that's the Rife. You type in the frequency. It goes through here. It amplifies it 150 times through that watt bulb, and that's where the frequency comes into your body. And what it
Wow.
does is you identify, like it might be cytomegalovirus or H. pylori or giardia or something like that, and it might be a coronavirus or a streptococcus, and that kills it.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool. I've
That
learned a
is
lot
cool.
about that. So my deal is I think it's the combination.
Right.
I'm a big blender of chocolate and peanut butter. So I think I call it the Rife 420.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we have a Facebook group that we just got it going, and Rife is the kind of a brand name, kind of like Rick Simpson with this
Right.
oil. Rife 100 years ago, they hired him. He was a researcher and a chemist, and he created a telescope that could identify cancer cells in petri
Hmm.
dishes. And what he did was he understood that opera singers could sing at a certain frequency and cause the wine glass to break.
Hmm.
This is a long time ago. People, they've known that for a long time.
Right.
And he created something that could do that with the cancer cells, so it would be based on a frequency. So we would change the frequencies until they would go
Oh, cool.
pop. And he cured 12 out of 12 cancer patients.
Wow.
And within the next couple months, the FDA and all the crap that was going on at the time, big pharma, oil money came in and shut them down.
Wow.
They
That's
were like, we don't want a cure for what we're just getting started creating,
right. Yeah.
and that was treating the root cause. That was what it was doing. And I'm a big proponent of this,
Yeah.
and seeing amazing results. And it creates, you can see results. You can see it's like a cleanse. When you're done with a good, successful cleanse produces some results, right?
Hmm.
In different ways.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been experiencing. So our goal is to collect patient-reported outcomes for that too. So
Okay.
it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. The way it works,
Yeah,
it
that's
gives
so
you
cool.
gives you a heads up. It gives you like a stage zero, which is really it kind of goes with what my whole mentality of this early recognition is critical is, because that started as we used to teach kids. It was youth cancer symptoms awareness. I won't even say the word awareness anymore. I am so over that. It's just, I won't do it. It's like, it's a waste of time.
Hmm.
We know what cancer is, even
Hmm.
though we don't understand it, and we
Hmm.
still act like it's the disease. No, the disease is the cause of it. What's causing it? It's, like I said, it's either parasite, bacteria, or virus, or a combination of all the above.
Right.
And when you fix that, one of the biggest problems with cancer is it comes back.
Hmm.
People are like, guess what? My cancer came back. You know why? Because they cured the symptom.
Hmm.
They killed the cancer. They didn't kill the cancer cells that were
Right.
causing it. They killed the cancer itself, and that's
Right.
it. And they're not killing. And that's what Rife was focusing on when he was looking at those petri dishes. He was killing the root cause of it, so it
Hmm.
didn't come back. And usually when it comes back pissed off and more deadly than it did the first time,
Right.
which
Because you
is
aren't addressing the root cause.
you're not addressing the root
Right.
cause. It's that simple.
Right.
and it's
We love
so,
addressing the root cause here. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever it is, you got to
right.
get to the root cause.
Yeah, cool, good. Well, then,
We're in line, and we're in line, Jim.
well, that's how you want your body too, is we call it homeostasis.
Yeah. Hi, Lovebug. I've got a juicy little gift for you. And if you've been feeling off, stuck in your head, or like your vibe just is not vibing lately, then this is for you. I created a free guide called The Three Secrets to Creating a Magnetic Energy Shift right now. And it's exactly what you need to start shifting your energy instantly. These are the exact tools I use with my private coaching clients when they're ready to stop chasing and start attracting. We're talking powerful, we're talking practical, and yes, of course, we are talking a little bit woo, but in the best possible way. In the guide, you will learn how to clear energetic blocks, activate your most irresistible frequency, shift into receiving mode, and there's even a bonus secret on how to use your body language to instantly boost your confidence and presence. So if you're ready to feel like the version of you who turns heads, magnetizes opportunities, and walks through the world like the main character, then this is your sign. Head to the show notes and click the link to download your free copy. It is quick, it is powerful, and it is going to leave you feeling like, damn, I really am that girl. All right, let's get back into the episode. And then taking a little bit of a step back, you've mentioned the patient-reported outcomes a few times at this point. So can you dumb that down for people like me that are kind of new to this terminology and this industry? So what are patient-reported outcomes, and can you explain why those matter so much in somebody's healing journey?
Okay, great. So, good question. Patient reported outcomes, or PROs, they've been around for a long time. You just don't really hear about them. A lot of people that use them are the manufacturers of like artificial knees.
Okay.
So after they're and we all know that, and I'm not talking about all doctors, but most doctors never really ask you how treatment went.
Yeah.
They really, I don't know if it's they don't care or they don't care, but they don't
Mhm.
ask. I
Right.
know that. I think it's they don't care
Right.
how it went because they don't want to, I don't know. But these medical manufacturers of parts do care. So they want to know how the patients they'll deal with the new knee so they can go sell more of them. It's very money driven. And
Okay.
so they collect these patient reported outcomes. Tell us how the knee surgery went. Tell us where your pain level is now. Tell us how your pain level is later. Also, how did the doctor do? A lot of
Right.
that. And then they started really calling these doctors out a little bit. And doctors don't want that. They don't want you to talk to this other patient.
Right.
So when I learned about what this group called X-Cures was doing, they were doing it with cancer patients. They were doing these expedited clinical trials. It was really cool. I
Mhm.
like even saying that, expedited clinical trials. They were moving it forward way faster than the bullshit that you go through, where everybody it's all payola. People are paying off people to get it through, and it's a lot of crap that never even get evaluated properly. It's the next thing you know, it's approved. So we would I invested in this company, so I started really understanding more about how this could happen, and I started realizing I was like, well, I wonder if I could do a clinical trial, and they were like, well, cannabis is federally illegal. No, you can't do them. So I was like, well, can we do patient reported outcomes for cannabis people? And cannabis cancer has always been my passion,
Mhm.
hence Whole Health Oncology Institute. And we, I said, why don't I start collecting these patient reported outcomes? And they were like, well, that'd be cool because we're finding out that a lot of our patients are using cannabis during
Mhm.
these treatments, and we'd like to know if it's helping them. So this is kind of all coming together a little bit. So
Right.
that's where it all came from.
Okay.
Cannabis was brought up initially by X-Cures wanting us to document data from these patients. And they said 25% of their patients had admitted that they're using cannabis. And I said, well, that's probably 25% of the, I bet there's more than that. So we're
Mhm.
finding out there is and there was. And,
Right.
and, and so I started digging into cannabis patient reported outcomes. And I realized, well, somehow we got to collect data from people. And my first foray into it was like, what strains are going to help the most?
Right.
And I really thought it made a difference. So I really dug deep into it. I met a bunch of different companies that were strain based, strain this, strain that, and I
Hmm.
dug a deep hole. And then I finally went up to one of my mentors, a guy named Jack Kungle up in Canada, and he just looked at me and said, Jim, strains don't have anything to do with it. You need to have multi strain. There
Mm.
needs to be
Okay.
4 or 5 different types and combine it all together. Now you've got multiple darts. Would you not rather have multiple darts than one dart? Now, like, bring it on. So he said,
Right.
just don't go there. Doesn't matter. Quit spending time on that. So we did, and we combined the concept of multi-strain with uh, patient-reported outcomes, and we started realizing we can uh, help these patients by collecting this data and sharing it with future patients. That's where it all started. So there's a program in Oklahoma, and now my co-founder of Cancer Playbook, Jamie Bennett, she was running a program there, and they were given oil. They called it RSO at the time, and they were giving oil to cancer patients, not collecting any data, just giving it to them and just saying, "Here, it's 1 penny." That's because they had to charge it. So I heard about it, and I reached out to her, and she goes, "That thing's been dead for about a year and a half." And I said, "Well, let's bring it back." I said, "I'm here to help get it going again, and I will. I want to collect data. I want to know exactly how these people are using it and how it's
Hmm.
helping them." And so we started collecting data. This is over 2.5 years ago. And we have helped over probably 150 people. We probably saved them over $100,000. We get it for $1 a gram.
Hmm.
So they're able to go through a whole treatment for less than $1,000, really
Okay.
easily. And
Okay.
all the money goes straight to the dispensary. We don't touch it. We're just a data company. We just
Okay.
help collect the data. So we collect data every week from these patients. It's amazing.
Hmm.
And that's patient reported outcomes every week. Have
Okay.
you changed your diet? Are you using FECO in the morning? How do you feel after you use it? What do you use if you get too high? And that way, all this data goes to the next person. We
Right.
collect it all, we aggregate it, we sanitize it, we anonymize it, and then we share it with the future next patient. So they get to feel what's going on. It's kind of like, you ever watch Family Feud? And they're
Yeah.
like, those numbers pop up, and like at
Yeah.
the end, you're like trying to get to 100, and they'll say
Hmm.
82% of the people said
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what this is. We help clean that up because if you're sick and you get on the website and you type in cancer and cannabis, you're going to get inundated with a bunch of crap. It's
Okay.
going to tell you all this stuff that they want to sell you and things like that.
Right.
It's crazy. If you go to cancerplaybook.org, there's a bot on there. It's a Google, it's called Playbook Agent, which is amazing. Google
Okay.
has picked us up as a sponsor. They loved what we did. Honestly,
Oh,
it was the
wow.
most amazing story. We got on this meeting. Google called us. They were like, "You guys are nerding out on an app that's not even out yet. What are you doing?" And we are like, "We're trying to make this thing help cancer patients." And so we got on this call, and all three of the kids per se were
Hmm.
all under age 30 easily, and they were all
Hmm.
like, "We wish this would have been around with our before our parents got cancer and stuff like that." So
Hmm.
they immediately bought into what we're doing. They paid for our first workshop with this company that does this bot. So you
Wow.
can get on the bot right now.
That's
Go to
so cool.
cancerplaybook.org, go to the bottom, ask it a cannabis question. And it's not ChatGPT. That's
Okay.
just the World Wide Web. Ours only pulls from our data.
Okay, cool.
All the patient reported outcomes and all the research that we have, the most recent research paper that was published,
Right.
it comes from that. So it comes from controlled environment. It's not our research paper is not us saying anything. It's us evaluating 10,000 papers that were done by other people. We
Hmm.
didn't do any of them. We just cleaned them up and ran it through AI and determined that the general consensus for this type of um, intervention was 66%, which
Wow.
most papers are the opposite. They're all like 33% in
Yeah.
favor of. This was 66% in favor of, very positive responses.
Wow.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I was reading about that, how when you compiled all these different studies, as he said, it was 10,000 different studies that they compiled. Every 2 out of 3 supported the fact that good things were happening with patients that were using cannabis, and
Right.
that's unheard of, right? In the
Absolutely.
scientific community. So I think that's one, I think that just speaks to how important it is, the work that you're doing. Um, and just like how more people should probably know about that, right?
Yeah. the
Yeah.
appetite for it was amazing too. The Guardian and everybody just grabbing it
Yeah.
and sharing it, and it's on LinkedIn still. People are still like, people were hitting us up saying, "Hey, have you seen this article?" And we're like, "Yeah, that's our article." They're like, "No way!" Like, "Yeah, man." People were just popping up on 420 at Apple News,
Yeah.
all over the place. All of a sudden, I got multiple texts from people saying, "Have you seen this?" They didn't even know it was mine. A lot of them, they was like, "Look
Yeah.
at this." They knew I was in the business,
Yeah.
but they never thought we'd show up on Apple News on
Yeah.
420. You
Which is
know,
awesome. Also, it's
which is
awesome
awesome.
that it was 420.
It was awesome that it was 420. And there's a group called Grasslands, or a PR company out of Colorado, out of
Mhm.
Denver. Fantastic. If you ever need any kind of PR, they are amazing. They are spot on, and they do what they say. They got us in front of a lot of people.
Mhm.
The Guardian bought in. They bought into it before the embargo was even up. They were the first ones to say yes,
Wow.
and they're huge. They have 83 million subscribers,
Yeah.
and they syndicated it across everything they have. And then Politico picked it up, and then CNN and Forbes. And it was like, Jesus, I had no idea. So you can go to our
Yeah.
media page on cancerplaybook.org
Hmm.
and go check it out. It's really cool. Like I said, my favorite part's the dogs.
Hmm.
It really is. It's so much to learn. Dogs can teach us so much because humans lie, they
Right.
cheat, they steal, they don't even know they're doing it, and it's not
Hmm.
intentional. It's just, you go sneak a if you don't smoke cigarettes and you sneak around the block and sneak a cigarette, that's when dogs don't do that,
Yeah.
you know unless you leave a cigarette out for them,
Yeah.
but they don't do that. They do what you say. You train. And my dog Kira, and by the way, I love showing pictures of her. She's very relaxed.
Hello, puppy.
She's very comfortable, and she's on full raw. That's
Wow.
what we tell people. That's the number one thing you should do, is get them off kibble. Do
Yeah.
not feed them crap, because it's
Right.
like feeding your dog Doritos all day, every day.
Yeah.
Some dogs do okay with it, but it's not healthy for them. And then they diet. They go, "Oh, my dog's healthy." It dies at 9.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to happen that way.
Right.
That 9 to 15 is the best years of a dog's life, man.
Hmm.
And so we're trying to extend the longevity of dogs. And to do that, we think we're going to attack the most common cause of death, which is cancer.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, then it's going to extend the life of a lot of dogs.
And that's what
So
everybody wants. They want their best friend to live forever, as
forever,
long as they
yeah,
can.
absolutely. It's so fun watching them go from a puppy to a grandma or whatever they are. And they're
Yeah.
great, man. They're just you get them right where you need them. It just so they're awesome. Yeah. And yeah,
Hmm.
we're going through that. So cancerplaybook.org, and go for cancer. It's Cancer Dogs. That's kind of our code name for it.
Okay.
And my goal is to have 5 acres. I'm working with a girl up in North Texas right now. She has 20 kennels. I want to fill those up with dogs with cancer.
Hmm.
Um, Currently, they're all older dogs, and that was her push. But she's very into what we're doing, and we're
Hmm.
looking at doing it together. And it would
Right.
be like a dog with cancer sanctuary,
I love
where
it.
we would learn so much. And we would use our bioresonance machine, because that works great for dogs too.
Right.
And it's really cool. I'd love to talk more about the frequency stuff. If you look up Royal Rife, RIFE, and just research it, there's some really good positive things about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's something that's really interesting too. So I'll have to look into the bioresonance and the Rife machine a little bit more, because I feel like I have heard of bioresonance before, but honestly, just for me, I haven't looked that much into it. So I think that's really interesting too. That you're kind of combining them, like you said, to kind of confront it from a couple different angles.
Treat the root cause.
Yeah, treat the root cause.
Yeah.
And for everybody too, I'll put some links in the show notes so you don't have to search for it, but you can access the media page that Jim is referencing. So I'll include those links so you guys can access that easily from the show notes as well. Jim, I do have a question. So I feel like in your journey, one, you've experienced cancer yourself with your skin cancer. You've experienced childhood cancer with your son, right? And some pretty aggressive cancers in your journey. So I feel like those types of situations, just on a good day, can be really draining mentally, emotionally, physically when you're dealing with it, especially when it's your child. So what have you noticed? about the role of mindset in a patient's ability to navigate something as life-altering as a cancer diagnosis, or if their child has a cancer diagnosis like
Well,
you experienced.
yeah, that's a good question and a tough one there. It's really one word, hope. I would have to say is if you can, what I did when Eric was first diagnosed with a brain tumor at 8, and I thought he was going to die. I didn't know any different.
Hmm.
It's it was like 2000, I think, is when it was. He was born in 92. I got to always do the math. 88, 92, 96. Those are my 3 kids, 4 years apart.
Yeah.
But uh, but yeah, at first I was scared to death, and then I I did some research and luckily ran across a friend of a family that had a daughter that had the exact same brain tumor Eric had, and we
Wow.
met, and she was fine, and I was like, there it is.
Yeah.
That was it. And so that's a lot of what we do too. We try
Right.
to pass it forward. You said it perfectly before. We're one of the only people that collect patient reported outcomes and do something with them. There's a lot of people that collect them. We do something.
Right.
So that's the difference. And we really feel that it's amazing because it's crowdsourcing and it's a real, Yelp. People use Yelp a lot. We're like Yelp for cancer.
Yeah.
It's like we're not telling you where to go. We're letting the people tell you that been there, done that, and that's what brought us hope. It really did. Is we we,
Hmm.
we felt so much better after that. She was running around and she was happy, and the dad was like, we're
Yeah.
like, thank the Lord that we were able to meet you. Because if we
Yeah.
weren't, we would have had a really bad mindset all the way into it. And this
Yeah.
way we went into it really with a good, strong, positive, faith that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is so important. I mean, we talk about it all the time here that mindset is so important and it has the power to either ruin your life or make your life, right? Because any situation, it depends on how you're looking at it, and how you look at it affects the actions that you're taking to deal with it. So I think it's amazing that you were able to meet somebody else that shared your son's diagnosis. I think that's incredible that you had that opportunity. So, and you've shared some of your stories too throughout this, but what would you say, sharing stories like that? What is the power behind sharing stories like that when you're in a situation like this?
You know, I think the power of it really comes from being able to benefit from our program through stories and then really realizing it that way. It's
Yeah.
like building the case for it
Hmm.
by living it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a visual person. You can tell me all day long, but show me,
Yeah.
prove it. And not that I'm like a scientific guy, but I'm like almost from Missouri. I'm from Illinois, and I think some of Missouri wore off on me. And when I met this girl, and she was awesome. Actually, I bought some life insurance from her dad. You know, it was like, man, this is amazing. And like I said, when Eric got sick again, the first thing we started doing is going out looking for people that had dealt with it before, and then now we're providing that for other people. Like Dave's story is amazing. We call it a 5-star story. Um,
Hmm.
it's we call it speaking up too. It's
Hmm.
speaking up is sharing. We have our 40-20-40 model. It's speak up, screen up, and heal up.
Hmm.
And we took Eric and we used to do kids clinics. I think I didn't really finish the story. Kids clinics in middle schools, and we educated over 150,000 middle school
Wow.
kids
That's
all
so
over the
cool.
country. It was awesome. And then the pandemic hit,
Hmm.
and we couldn't get in schools anymore. So I was like, okay, we got to pivot. And that's when we
Yeah.
started looking at doing other stuff. And that's where, my cannabis journey was pretty strong at the time. And I wasn't quite ready we weren't quite away from the kids far enough yet
Hmm.
to start incorporating it all together. But,
Yeah.
now we are.
Right.
Now, yeah, we haven't been in the schools for over 5 years.
Okay.
Those kids are all grown up,
Right.
kids that knew us. And we had something, I had it going. I lived this. I jumped all in, and we had kids wearing Eric hats all over the world. It
That's
was it
cool.
was pretty cool. Yeah, they were. We knew we made it when someone saw one in a Marshalls, like it was being recycled through. Like we're like, damn, we got
What a
Eric.
cool moment.
Yeah, we're like, wow, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
speaking about Eric a little bit more, again, this is So one, Eric is Jim's son, right? As he just described that he had those different cancer diagnoses that he is now thriving in his life at 32. But Eric is also the nonprofit that Jim helped to co-found. Again, that stands for Early Recognition is Critical. Eric for sure. But you've said, or you haven't really said, but Jim, you've expanded Eric globally, the nonprofit. So being a global nonprofit, I think probably comes with its own lessons in and of itself. Like you said, you had such a big impact on school children, but what has that outreach taught you about health access, education, and resilience in different cultures since you have expanded that globally?
Whew, it's not very good either, and it's not very good globally. It's just
Hmm.
not. And what we're finding out is, we're working with a lot of third world countries, Uganda, Kenya, and they don't even know what cancer is, and if they do, and you get it, they just succumb to dying because they don't want to.
Hmm.
What they call is generational bankruptcy.
Hmm.
They know that if you try to cure it, that's what you put your family into, and that's what these people aren't willing to do, and it's really sad. So when we
Yeah.
did our first move into Uganda, we really went over there for a 2 week trial period with a group that was building a frisbee golf course.
Oh, cool.
Literally, a guy named Paul Macbeth, really cool guy, probably the one of the best disc golfers in the world, and he was doing this, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I want to be involved. And I've never been to Uganda, so I'd love to be involved with this. And 2 weeks turned into 4 years.
Wow.
So it's awesome. We learned a lot. I never went. I just got distracted, and but we got it going, and we had a local guy up in Boston that was running, and he was from Uganda. All kind of tied to ultimate frisbee.
Hmm.
That's how Eric got started because I owned a ultimate frisbee team,
Okay.
and and while we were starting to grow it, we thought, you know what? There's a really good. I used to go into these schools and teach kids how to play frisbee when I was just my kids were in middle school. So I thought maybe I can use that same model with Eric. So that's what we started doing, going to these middle schools and taking over the PE classes. And that's where we got 150,000 kids because we were doing 700 a day.
Hmm.
We do the whole school. That was the cool part about it. And
Wow.
it's just started, snowballing where we went from us calling schools begging to come in to them calling us begging us to come in.
Hmm.
So it kind of swung quite a bit. So it's been really fun. The globalness of Eric is sometimes misunderstood, but I get a lot out of it, and I think we help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost as much either. I mean, it goes a long way. We have these bracelets, and I've turned them into to keychains. Where are we here?
Oh.
There it is,
Oh,
right there.
cool.
Yay! Okay, there's the keychain. So
Oh,
there's
that's
four.
neat.
Yeah, it's a bracelet, and they're made in India by a fully autistic group. And
Oh,
so the
wow.
key, this is for breast self-exam education.
Okay.
Um, this is key. If you catch it here in the
Okay.
blue, it's 95% successful.
Oh, interesting.
You want to catch it early. If you catch it here, it's opposite.
Okay.
So that's early recognition is critical.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I turned these bracelets actually broke, so I turned them into keychains so they could be with me all the time, and
Amazing.
we share them all over the world.
That's
They're
cool.
amazing. Yeah, we had thousands of them made, and people have them and they share them. And I just got a message from somebody in Florida that I sent 10 to that she shared them with a couple ladies that they turned out to be breast cancer survivors, and it's really powerful. I've had so
Mhm.
many stories of just random. I'd meet somebody and I just thought, you know what? Here's I give them my bracelet, and they were like, I don't know why you gave that to me. I was like, I just felt like I needed to. And this one lady goes, you know what? I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I have my MRI next Wednesday, and I'm scared to death, and this is really helping me. So
Oh,
that
good.
that's kind of stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really evident, Jim, that you've done a really good job of one, creating community for people that are going through a hard time. And as you mentioned earlier, just giving people hope for something that can be really scary, no matter what it is that you're going through, whether it's yourself, a child, or somebody that you love. But that said, you obviously have so much that you have going on in your mind and your heart. So, what legacy do you hope to leave behind, not just in healthcare itself, but in how people support one another through life's hardest moments like this?
Really good question. Grandkids, I love my grandkids. I really want to spend a lot of time with them, but I think dogs is my biggest thing. I'd like to leave that dog sanctuary, cancer
Mm.
dogs, it would be pretty powerful. I
Yeah.
think that would be something that could. I think if it's done right, it bring so much data and research, and we could learn so much about cancer from dogs because it's breed specific. Certain dogs have certain cancers, and why?
Mm.
What's up with this, and how do we prevent it? And like I said, let's keep our best friends around longer. And
Yeah.
I want to, so I want to do like my son is a what we people that have never met Eric. You know, quick story. My legacy is to support my kids. I mean, it's awesome. And one of our biggest customers with Subaru met Eric for the first time, and he said, "Eric, it's nice to meet somebody that you prayed for."
Oh,
You
that's
know,
nice.
it's like holy shit, man. So that always that kind of stuff to me is powerful. And I'm a
Yeah.
big family guy. I really am. And like I said,
Mm.
getting back with my ex-wife and making the family work. You know, it was my fault. I screwed it up. But yeah, that would be my legacy: is keep the family going, really support my grandkids, spend a lot of time with them, and created a cancer sanctuary for dogs.
Amazing. I think that's an incredible legacy to leave behind. I too am really big into family. That's one of my top values. And as everybody on this podcast knows, I'm obsessed with my pets. We talked about this. Jim and I talked about this before we started recording too. So if they can live as long as possible, like I'm all for it.
Awesome. You
And
need
so,
any help on getting them over to raw food?
yeah, absolutely. I would
It's
love to talk to you about that too.
her fur, her coat is beautiful. It's so soft. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, what do you do to your dog?" I said, "Feed them raw,
Yeah.
full raw." She does beef one meal and turkey the next, and she's allergic to chicken. I found
Oh,
that out
interesting.
using bioresonance. The
Yeah.
frequency they can check their sensitivity, food sensitivities.
Oh, cool.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
interesting. So my best friend Tiffany actually used to be she actually used to be a vet. So she told me that a lot of dogs actually can actually be allergic to chicken, which I never would have thought about that, but it's interesting that you bring that up that your dog is allergic to chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. I fed her chicken for years, and she'd have like runny stool, and I'd be
Oh.
stuffing more chicken in her. Eat more. You can't be sick because they tell you, you know what they tell you when your dog's sick?
Like
You
chicken and rice. Yeah.
know, chicken and rice is the worst thing you give your dog. It just
Yeah.
turns straight to sugar, you
Oh.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's like the worst thing you give them. I give my dog frozen chicken, turkey, and beef, and pumpkin.
Oh, smart. Yeah, I give my dogs pumpkin sometimes too.
Pumpkin's really good for them. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
really been nice to meet you. I
Yeah.
actually, I actually almost called you up and bailed on it. I was like, you know what, maybe this isn't right for me. But then I started researching you a little bit more and seeing all the good things that you're doing,
Okay,
and
good.
you really are, you're really easy to talk to, and
Oh, thank you. Well,
yeah,
I'm glad that you decided to come on. I do have one last question for you as we
sure.
kind of wrap up here. So, if somebody listening right now is facing a health scare, or if somebody that they love is facing a health scare, what's one powerful piece of advice that you would offer them to wrap up the show?
Okay, so don't speak up, and don't mess around. Go if you would ever consider using alternative medicines, which is what we are, we're a plant-based medicine, which is crazy. It's not really alternative. Been
Mm,
around for thousands of years. Do it first. Don't
mm,
wait till it's stage 4 and your last resort. They're telling you that what they're doing is not working, because what we do helps what they do work better.
mhm.
That's what I would like to leave with people, and because our
Amazing.
goal is to help people have a better quality of life. We can't save lives. Everybody's going to die, but we
Yeah,
can help you have a better quality of life.
amazing. Love it. Thank you so much, Jim. For anybody who is wanting to get in contact with you or look more into the Cancer Playbook or the Whole Health Oncology Institute, what is the best way for them to reach you at, and to get more information?
Yeah, social media, it's all Eric versus Cancer,
Okay.
VS Cancer, or Cancer Playbook.
Okay.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah, all social media. Yep. So LinkedIn is my favorite, but
Okay. Perfect.
I look forward to helping people. If go to Cancer Playbook, and you can learn a lot. And don't wait to get cancer to learn about it. And, you know, you'll learn why you should do certain things to eliminate it, or prevent it. So
Amazing. What you're doing is really powerful. Everybody, I will include links for all the social media places, LinkedIn, for the Cancer Playbook website, all of that stuff in the show notes as well. So you don't have to search for it yourself. But again, thank you so much, Jim. This was such an incredible conversation.
thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you for keeping this going.
Yeah, of course. All right. Bye, everyone. Love you.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked what you heard, then go ahead and subscribe so you get updates with us every week. You can also follow us on Instagram at KRC Coaching. If you're interested in working one-on-one, then go ahead and visit our website, krccoaching.com, to book your first 30-minute session for free. All right, thanks so much, you guys. Love you. Bye.